The longevity of Japanese people is attributed to technological advancements, medical progress, accessible healthcare services, nutritious food and a favourable environment. With 20% of Japan's 126 million population being over 65 years old, it's the largest ageing population globally. Living a long and healthy life is a great and coveted blessing, although declining birth rates can pose problems. In 2018, Japan experienced its lowest birth rate in 68 years, with nearly 200,000 fewer newborns. The aging population, coupled with the decreasing birth rate, poses a significant challenge for Japan, akin to a ticking time bomb. As the smallest and most serene of Japan's 4 primary islands, our car navigated through the valleys of Shikoku. The tranquil path was flanked by trees, no sound to disturb the peaceful atmosphere. Over 6 hours on the road, we finally caught sight of something on the roadside. They are life-sized cloth dolls, dressed in real clothes, sitting and standing along the road in Nagoro Village. Nestled quietly in a valley, Nagoro Village exudes a crisp end-of-year air, which was amplified by the pouring rain. Despite the dreariness and melancholy, we increased our pace towards our destination. Ayano Tsukimi, aged 67, is one of fewer than 30 individuals remaining in the village. Although she was born and raised here, she relocated to Osaka after getting married. After her mother's death, she returned to the village to take care of her father. Despite her mother's passing, Ayano still senses her presence in the house where she keeps a doll that represents her mother.
母親の綾子です。綾子。
綾子。
はい。
お母さん。
お母さんです。
お母さん。
お母さんは56歳で亡くなりました。ここ帰ってきてからもう12、13年前から作っております。これも全部母親の置いてた着物です。
着物ที่คุณแม่
着物、
ส
は
วม
い、
ใช่ไหม
はい、お母さんです。お金も入ってますよ、金持ちやけど。
The kimono that this figure is wearing is one that her mother wore before passing away. Ayano's house features numerous dolls, each representing a deceased family member. These dolls were created by Ayano to represent the declining population of the village and are all dressed in the clothes they wore when they were alive. They're positioned in the very spot where they used to sit or stand. According to Ayano, these dolls help soothe feelings of loneliness.
昔はたくさん人がいてて、で人形今人が少ないからたくさん人形を作ったら昔みたいにそんな感じにとそんなことはあまり思ってないですよ。まあ今でも自分の趣味で作っていますので、人形を作っててこんなことになろうとは思ってはなかったです。今海外の人とかねいろんな人が来て結構ね大勢の外国の方もたくさん来られるようになってここの村が賑やかになりましたけど元からこんなことに、ね、なろうと思ってなかったんで今はびっくりしています。嬉しいです。
In the kitchen, Ayano slowly poured water into the pot in the middle of the house. The house is still a traditional rural house with a stove hearth in the middle for cooking. Nagoro Village was once a thriving community, bustling with nearly 2,000 inhabitants. Upon Ayano's return, however, it had transformed into a desolate and solitary place, with fewer than 30 people. Most of the remaining villagers are over the age of 65, The absence of young individuals and children was conspicuous. Ayano doesn't make dolls to represent just her family members. She's made dolls of village members and placed them at various locations throughout the village. Some of the dolls were posed to look like they were working in the fields, sitting in front of the house, waiting for a bus at the bus stop, working in a wood shed, sitting in a shed or mowing grass along the roadside. This is a replica of the village where they once lived. To the visitor's eye, it may look strange and eerie because these dolls look so human, but they are lifeless. Ayano's intention in making these dolls was to commemorate those who lived here and to bring liveliness to the lonely village. She took us on a walk and told us about the past.
ここ事務所やったんです。
อันนี้ก็ปิด
ここ私
ชื่อมาดูดิเนี่ย
ここの事務所やったんですけど、もう今は私とこの、
何会社ですか？何事務所ですか？
事務所やっ
何事務所ですか？
建設会社してましたここ。
建設会社。
建設いうんか土木とか会社。このお店ももう今やってません。お店でした。
はい。
お店雑貨屋さん、タバコとか持ってます。でここバス停です。バス
เป็
停。
นที่บัสที่เรารถบัสด้วย
バス停名頃下
รอรถบัส
前にね。でもこの辺は田舎やから手を挙げればどこでも止まってくれます。
The neighbour's house and the pachinko parlour were abandoned. There were no open shops. The place that used to be a shop is now securely chained and padlocked. The rust on the chain indicates that it was installed long ago. The leaves are strewn all over the ground, with no one to sweep them away. The sound of insects chafing their wings comes from the grass. For us, this village is very pleasant and very much livable. There's a cool stream running through it, a lush green pine forest and fresh air. The only thing lacking here is the liveliness of people.
あったね。
อ๋อ
On the empty road appears a figure walking towards us. We were excited to meet real people, not just dolls.
お元気ですか
This person was one of the 27 members of Nagoro Village. She was the second member of the village we had had the opportunity to meet. This grandmother came with a small cart full of things. She said she was preparing to cook for her sister from another village who was visiting.
いたしますよ。大丈夫ですよ。
อ๋อ
They say home is where the heart is. For many individuals, owning a home is a dream. House and real estate prices have skyrocketed to the extent that in numerous countries a lot of people have given up the dream of owning one. A new project in Japan is, however, offering houses for free. During our journey across Shikoku Island, we noticed that several villages had deserted shops and houses. We saw spiders weaving their webs between unoccupied walls. These dilapidated buildings look horrifying, like a scene from a horror movie. This type of house is called akiya. Nationwide, there are up to 8.1 million such houses. It's expected that by 2033, the number of this type of house will increase to 20 million, or 1/3 of all the houses in the country. This is a result of declining populations and elderly people without children choosing to leave their homes for nursing homes. Japanese authorities are trying to solve the problem by persuading people to live in these houses. They renovate them and either sell them at low prices or give them away for free, with buyers only paying the appropriate taxes. Still, there are many abandoned houses. The aging population and low birth rate also lead to another serious concern: a labour shortage. This problem has spread to agriculture, especially rice farming. Food security is a necessity for Japan, an archipelago far from the mainland. Therefore, rice farming is an important part of society. In ancient times, Japanese farmers used to have a lower status. After World War II, land reforms resulted in an improvement in this status. Farmers could own land, while government policies fully protected them, with the belief that food producers must survive first. This career is, however, being threatened. Farmers in Japan, especially smallholders, are having a really hard time. Kazuo has been farming for the past 50 years. He says rice prices are not as good as they used to be because rice consumption has decreased. He said he will soon lose his ability to compete.
米の価格がここね何年かちょっと低迷してるっていう部分もあって、その採算性の問題で、自分の所得が減って結局現在持ってるその農機具を更新することができないっていう部分があって、
自分家の、土地だけで作っていても今の米価では正直収益を作った分だけマイナスになってしまう、そういうデメリットがあるので、じゃあこの機械にも次の世代がやらないんであれば機械が壊れたと同時にもうやめてしまうと。
Young people have zero interest in becoming farmers, while people who can farm are getting older. Soon, the countryside may not have the iconic green paddy fields anymore. Like empty houses, more and more paddy fields in Japan are being abandoned. The average age of the villagers here is about 67. Kazuo is fortunate that his son Yuichi decided to enter farming, a profession which has supported the family for generations. There are not many people like Yuichi, though. He said that among his 220 classmates, he was the only one who chose to return home to farm.
なるべくもう収納した原点のこの田園風景、水田の稲の風景というか、それを守っていきたいので、耕作放棄地をなるべく増やさないように、それが自分が地元に対する恩返しになるのかなと。
If you want to see more great content from all over the world, please like the video, subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon. Thank you.
In 1950, Japan's elderly population was at 5.1%. After 65 years, the number of elderly people has increased to 26.6%, surpassing that of other developed countries like Italy and Germany. It's expected that by 2060, the elderly will reach 35% of the entire population. The most worrisome issue associated with this aging is the labour shortage. Young people are getting older and not enough children are being born to fill the gap. The labour shortage is not, however, new to Japan. Japan has been trying to adapt and solve this problem for decades by extending the retirement age to 65 and having a second employment system, including various policies that encourage people to marry and have more children. But that hasn't been enough. Hiring foreign workers has been an alternative solution to the labour shortage in many countries, except Japan. This country has a low number of foreign residents compared to other developed countries. The long closure of the country and its island geography made the Japanese focus on their ethnicity. They have a strong belief that foreigners will never fit into Japanese society and culture. This labour crisis, which has severely affected economic growth, has, however, left Japan with no choice. Japan is finally accepting more foreign workers.
されないと
で今回初めてされたと。だからそういう意味でね、移民政策イコール移民国家へのね道の第一歩を進んだと。それが人手不足と言ってるけど、この人手不足というよりも世界の戦闘機体には人口減少社会入っててね、もうコミュニティの崩壊ですよ。単に
Refugees are a group of people who are helping to fill the labour gap in many countries, but not in Japan. Japan's refugee numbers are low. The acceptance of refugees for resettlement in Japan is also limited, as many Japanese are proud of their culture and bloodlines. The UNHCR has asked the Japanese government to consider expanding its refugee settlement programs, but so far this has not received much response. Japan's reluctance to accept refugees reflects concerns about foreigners. It's also not easy for refugees who've been legally settled here to find work. It is fraught with many obstacles, and the biggest one is the attitude towards refugees. Many non-governmental organizations and labor-intensive companies try to get around this limitation by providing training. They try to educate refugees as much as possible to understand the society and culture of Japan. Then they find suitable positions in companies in need of workers.
Last fiscal year, we matched 40 refugees to 20 companies. So we can say that quite a few companies are interested in hiring refugees and asylum seekers.
The project has found employment for many refugees, including women from Myanmar. She got a job as a Uniqlo salesperson after completing her training.
今新しくサステンシビリティから新しくいっぱい入ってるんですけど、その後輩たちはたまに連絡来て悩みとか相談してたりしてくるときは私もそこから入ってきたものでそうやった方がいいですよ、例えば自分から聞いた方がいいですとか少し自分ができるところまでアドバイスしたりをしてます。
Japanese culture is highly individual and unique. It's not easy for foreigners who want to be part of society, not to mention their refugee status.
すごくポジティブに受け取っていただいていると思うんですけれども、まだまだ難民とはどういう人なのかっていう理解すら日本の社会の中では浸透していない状態だと思いますので、これから私たちとしてもそういったことの方々をもっと知っていただくということもやっていきたいと思っています。
Amidst the labour shortage crisis, we've seen Japan becoming more open to foreigners, immigrants and refugees, especially the younger generation. The question is whether these attitudes will remain the same if the environment changes. The whole world is watching and learning how to solve the problem of an ageing society from Japan. Its society is ageing ahead of others. The Japanese government has issued policies to prepare for an ageing society, to employ foreign workers, to find housing for them, to find suitable jobs for them, and to let the elderly start learning to drive again. Many older people are trying to adapt so that they can live without becoming too lonely.